What's going on, guys? It's Nick here, back with another video. It's Monday, it's time, and it's time for the mock draft Monday. We did half PPR before. We're going back to full PPR. We will stick with 12-team league. For those of you who want deeper formats, go to the live stream. We're going to do a 14-teamer this week, which will be with you guys, so you can join that and join into it. Next week after that, I think we might do a 20-team draft. Someone asked for a huge one, and it's a way to get 19 of you into the draft. So we're going to do larger drafts over there, but I think for this video, we're going to do a classic. Full PPR, 2 wide receiver, 2 running back, 1 flex spot, just like the most common format nowadays. We were late pick last time, early pick before that, I think. Let's do a middle pick. 5. Okay, 5. I think 5 is good. I think we did early and we did late. And we'll do this as normal. We'll start the draft. And then next time I'll also do sleeper. So I've done some sleeper drafts. I've done some half PPR. We're trying to mix things up a lot. Next week we'll do sleeper. But again, if you join the stream tomorrow night, we're going to do a deeper format for those of you who want that. We did a smaller one last week. So for those of you for 10-team leagues, go watch last week's live stream. I did a 10-team draft. Or actually, it was 2 weeks ago. Something like that. Anyways, you can find it. This draft. Let's make sure we're not blocking anything. Good. I'm not blocking anything over there. Christian McCaffrey, CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, Amon-Ra, St. Brown. So let's pull up the cheat sheet and we will hide drafted players. As we know, no quarterback, no tight end. We're drafting too early at those positions. You have the option at this point of going with hero or going with wide receiver early. For hero, you're going with one of Breece Hall or Bijan Robinson. Had someone ask me the other day, Nick, why do you have Breece Hall over Bijan Robinson in full PPR? Listen, this is a personal preference for you. If we look at half PPR, Bijan outscores Breece by like 1.5 points. If we look at full PPR, Breece outscores Bijan by like the same 1.5 to 2 points. So you just got to sit there and be like, okay, what do I think happens? Who do I think has the best chance of, overtaking Christian McCaffrey as the #1 scoring running back this season? When you formulate that for your scoring format, take that player. I'm going to have what the projections say. The projections do have Breece Hall. One thing I'll say, though, is right now, projections do say take the wide receiver. This is also one, do mock drafts, right? You don't always just go straight up off of rankings because the value difference is, like 0.2, right? Like there's a very small value difference between 2 players. Do the mock drafts. Figure out, okay, do I like my team more if I draft a running back here? Do I like my team more if I draft a wide receiver? We have kind of figured out, especially in half PPR, we just like our teams a little bit more if we go with the running back. I think I'm going to do that this time. Maybe if we don't like how a team turns out, we can kind of go back and see how it would have been different had we gone with the wide receiver. I'm going to go with Breece Hall. I'm going to take Breece Hall, and I'm going to see kind of how this draft turns out, having that running back. And then again, we can compare. Honestly, it doesn't really take us going back. We can just kind of think, had I had Jamar Chase, what would I have done at this pick? But I want to lock up the running back and try and go the hero build. So we lock him up. At running back, we have Pacheco. We have Kyren Williams. And Kyren's by a pretty good margin. Actually, Achane, Pacheco, Kyren are kind of top wide receivers in this range, but none of them, Achane's the first one, have him at 25. None of them are really even that close to the top projected player. I have Drake London ahead of them. I have not Mike Evans, Brandon Ayuk. Drake London, Brandon Ayuk, Jalen Waddle, all projected ahead of Don Achane. Plus, we already have a running back, so I just think it makes all sense in the world to take our top projected player. It is Drake London in this format. I know a lot of you are not super high on Drake London this season. I still am. I still think he has significant upside. The quarterback play change, the coordinator. It really, a lot of people make the comments about being how could you draft him highly having not seen him produce at a high level at any point? And it's why is this season with an injured quarterback going to change everything? And it's not just the quarterback change. It's when you change the coaching staff, when you change the plays that are being called, they're just going to be better. When you change the offensive philosophy and you just increase pass attempts, right? That alone, even if you didn't change the quarterback, if you just greatly increase the pass attempts, he's going to perform better because there's just more volume to go around. But when you increase everything, it kind of has like compounding impacts of like more efficient targets, more of those targets. It's like everything builds on itself, and it just becomes a situation where he's going to project very, very highly. Now, if you don't believe in the talent and you don't believe in him being this high, don't take him, right? Take Brandon Ayuk, take Jalen Waddle, take these other wide receivers. I just do. I feel pretty strongly this is going to be a good pick. Okay. But again, I did that breakdown video. I would have taken Olave. Olave went at the turn. So, didn't talk about what has come off the board since then, but nothing was really weird. After our Brees pick, it was Bijan, Gibbs, Etienne, JT, and Saquon. Etienne probably a little bit earlier than you would expect there, but the others made sense. And then wide receiver, it was Chase Jefferson, A.J. Brown, Puka, Garrett Wilson, Adams, Olave, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Pittman. I would say Pittman maybe earlier than expected, but in a full PPR format, I don't think that was a bad pick at all. I still would have taken Drake London there, but that's not a bad pick. And then we've got Allen and Hurts off the board. We've got Sam Laporte and Kelsey going in round 3, and then Ayuk, Evans, Waddle, and Nico also off the board. So at that turn, no running backs went, and there hasn't been a running back since 206, and we're going to be at 305. So nearly a full round has gone by before we've seen a running back. If we look at my projections, Cooper Kupp is the top player. It's Cooper Kupp, it's Devonta Smith, and it is Devon Achane. None of them are going to be their next pick, so there's no reason to play the ADP game. I guess theoretical chance that Achane would be. Oh, I can pull up all. They are saying, we'll see what their system says. Yeah, they're saying a 99% chance he gets drafted. So again, none of them are going to be there. So how does it work out a little bit for us? I'm trying to get my mouse here. Given that we have Brees and we have London. If we take Achane, basically all these running backs will probably be gone and we'll be left in kind of like this range. Wide receivers, we might be left in tier 5 for them here with like Flowers, Kirk, or like Christian Kirk, T. Higgins, Keenan Allen, Pickens, Dell, Godwin, Ridley. I like those players. I like them a lot more in the flex. And that's kind of what's going through my mind right now is, do we need Achane? I think you capture sick upside if like Breece Hall is the person who usurps Christian McCaffrey as number 1 running back. But then Achane also has that upside. Like if like Mostert got hurt or Achane takes over as the 1A, he does have the ceiling to get, even on like 15 touches a game, to be like a high-end running back 1 because he could score 15 to 17 touchdowns with receptions, all that stuff, right? I think I would still rather just go with the wide receiver. I would say I have Breece Hall. I know he's going to be awesome this season. I really only need to figure out one of the running back spot. I would rather in a format that really favors wide receiver production, and I would really want a wide receiver in the flex every week. I'd rather just be strong at wide receiver. So we're going to go with Cooper Kupp with this pick. After us, a lot of running backs do go off the board. Kyron, Pacheco, Achane, White, Henry, Kamara, and James Cook. Not as many wide receivers. DJ Moore, Debo, Metcalf, Devonta Smith, and Stephon Diggs. And then both Lamar and Mahomes do go off the board. So we can start considering tight end. I have Andrews and Kincaid back-to-back at 407, 408. We're at 408. So perfectly even value for them. At quarterback, I have Richardson next, 409, like just like in the very next spot. So that's in consideration. I would love if we could get Richardson in the next round. If we look at the draft board, 2 teams have quarterback, 2 teams don't. So we're looking at fading 2 teams basically to take Anthony Richardson. I don't know that it's going to happen, but I know that it's worth the risk because it'd be way better if we could get him with our next pick. If we look at running back, looks like Jacobs, Mixon probably, right? Yeah, Jacobs, Mixon are the top 2. I have Jacobs at 411. So for all these picks, we're like right at where they should basically be going. So we'll star them all and we'll just kind of like figure out how we want to play this. Anthony Richardson, Jacobs, Mixon. Honestly, McBride, Andrews, Kincaid. And then at wide receiver, we're looking at Flowers. Neighbors, though, right? Yeah. Neighbors, Flowers. We can throw Kirk in there as like the last one, but I don't know. So that's actually a lot. That's 9 players that we want here. We've got our pick, and then 8 are going to go by. So the overwhelmingly likely outcome is that we would end up with 2 of these guys. And that's pretty good, right? If we're thinking about that, we've got the tight end position where it's almost a guarantee one of these guys is going to be there at the next pick, right? There's only 2 teams that have not taken a tight end. So it does not make sense for us to go with tight end at this pick. So you cross that one off. If you look at wide receiver, we already have 2, and it probably makes sense for us to risk it a little bit more with that one and be like, okay, if Christian Kirk happened to be that next guy there, we're fine with that. I don't think Neighbors, Flowers, or Kirk jump out enough into this flex spot for us, or we go there. So cross off wide receiver. So now we're looking at Jacobs, Mixon, or Anthony Richardson. And again, I think it's probably worth it risking it with Richardson because there's so many good quarterbacks. Plus, who knows? I mean, you could just not have a quarterback on those teams. So I think the play is go with the top running back and take Josh Jacobs. Nice way to work through all of that. So Mixon goes. Flowers, Neighbors goes. Anthony Richardson goes. We also have Ken Walker, Stevenson, Aaron Jones, and Amari Cooper. So bit of a blow, but again, we knew we'd have players left. So we have Christian Kirk, but again, it was kind of the end of there. We got to take a tight end. I think the tight ends at this spot, like they're not going to be there at the next pick. They're really strong values in round 5. We can pull up our team over here. I mean, we've got Breece Hall and Jacobs. We've got London and Kupp. We're probably a little bit more hesitant on wide receivers because we took a little bit more risk there. They both have huge upside, but we took more risk. So we're going to want to go back to wide receiver. And Christian Kirk would be a strong pick here, but the difference between Kirk and like Dell, Godwin, Ridley, Deontay, Rasheed, like, is minimal. So I think, yeah, it's there. Like, there is a drop off, but I think we wait for our flex spot. We grab our top ranked tight end, which again by 1.3 points is Mark Andrews. I feel like you could honestly, you could flip-flop those 2. I do prefer them over Trey McBride. If you wanted to take Kincaid here, though, I'd be totally fine with that. Just being like, he has the upside to catch 100 receptions. But I'm going to go with Mark Andrews. I just think you got to go tight end at that pick, I think. Okay. We go tight end, of course. McBride, Kincaid go. Ingram also goes. We see Stroud, Kyler, Burrow, and Dak all off the board. We only see Connor and Montgomery at running back. And then we see Higgins, Kirk, Keenan Allen, Ridley, and then Pickens goes right before us. So don't think we want quarterback with this pick. Only one team left here is not taking a quarterback. I love Jordan Love this season, but I did also just miss out on some quarterbacks I have ranked an okay chunk ahead of him. I love Jordan Love, though. So he'll be an option for us. Let's start him. Jordan Love. I don't think we need to go with running back. I think Swift would be fine. Zamir's just not going to get enough targets for us. I think a full PPR to really want here. I think Warren's fine. Najee's fine. But they're like fine. And I don't really want to invest that much in them. I think I'd rather have my top wide receiver. Because again, I've talked about this many times. I love Dell. I love Godwin. You can throw Calvin Ridley into that mix, who's not here yet. Or not here. I was going to say not here with us anymore. Not here with us anymore on the draft board. I think in this range, I have to lock up one of these guys. I have Dell by like a pretty good chunk over this crew. We didn't take, I just want to pull up my roster real quick. Okay. I was saying we didn't take a Texans wide receiver, right? Okay. We take Dell. I like how this is working out. Breece, Jacobs, London, Kupp, Andrews, Dell. Unfortunately, we missed out on Love. So that one team we were fading there does take Jordan Love at quarterback. But honestly, we're sitting back now being like, listen, you guys all took all but one team already has a quarterback. These teams will be waiting a while. So at this point, like, I really don't care who I get between like Purdy, Daniels, Tua, Caleb, Cousins. Maybe we take Cousins for like that stack. We're waiting, right? We're not attacking the quarterback position right now. We're also not attacking tight end, and we still have Deontay Johnson on the board. I want to make sure I actually have Deontay over Reed, though. I know that that's very, very close. Where on earth is... Yes, Deontay at 200.5, Reed at 197.2. It just favors Deontay a little bit more this scoring format, given how spread out they're going to be for the Packers. Okay. Coming together. Again, we wanted to kind of capitalize on wide receiver just because we took London and Kupp, who have high upside, but obviously lower floors than we'd like. So we have London, Kupp, Dell, and Deontay. Beautiful. And then Breece Hall, Jacobs, and then tight end is Mark Andrews. We had another quarterback go off the board, so now all teams have their quarterback. I do think that Daniels is like pretty clearly the highest upside quarterback on the list, and we should probably like look at him, but again, we're just waiting at this point. Running backs, we love Jonathan Brooks. I think he's pretty clearly the top running back on the board right now. Wide receivers, I like the upside of Ladd. I like the upside of Christian Watson, Adunze, Worthy, all great picks. I think optimally here, we take Brooks. We hope one of them is there at our next pick, and then maybe we start looking at quarterback after that. But I would rather just take advantage of the fact that we waited at the quarterback position and just keep loading up at some of these skill position players. So let's take Brooks. Okay. Who do I have projected? It is Adunze first, then Worthy. Yeah, and that makes sense. Christian Watson's lower just because of the team is just going to spread it out a lot more, and he's not really a target earner in the sense that like he's going to have 10 targets in games a lot of times. He's more of a downfield threat, so it favors him a little bit more in like standard and half PPR. So Adunze, our top wide receiver. Daniels looks like he's still going to be there at the next pick. Now we would probably not risk it anymore. It probably wouldn't make sense for us. It has been over 3 rounds since a quarterback has been drafted in Purdy. Again, we took Brooks. We took Adunze. Some tight ends are going, a mix of running backs and wide receivers. But now we'd be starting to get into the range where people would be looking at their, second quarterback. We would take Daniels, a quarterback that is on a team that they're going to run a ton of plays. They have a bad offensive line, which hurts, but also makes it so they can't really run the ball that much. So he's going to have to drop back a ton. Their defense is bad, and so their teams are going to be scoring on them. Like, it just leads to a situation where he just might, not be amazing in terms of the passing department. But if he's going to run the ball for like 40, 50 yards every game, have rushing touchdowns, and need to throw it a lot because they're down a lot, like, he has significant upside this season. And if he doesn't work out, we didn't invest that much draft capital into him, we can stream a different quarterback. So I think it makes sense to just go with Daniels at that spot. And again, we're probably not going to see the computer draft a lot of like quarterbacks at this spot, but actual people would be drafting quarterbacks, would be drafting like their second quarterback here. And so I think it just makes sense, in a real draft, that's what we would be doing. Okay. We are in the 11th round. We've got 4 skill position players to draft, and then we'll draft our defense, and then we will get on out of here. If we're looking at our team, Breece Hall, Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Brooks. Only 3 running backs, and we've got London, Kupp, Dell, Deontay, Adunze. We do need another running back. So if we're looking at some sort of upside, Jaleel McLaughlin could be in kind of like an Alvin Kamara role on Denver this season. They really like him. He has upside. Rico Dowdle, he could be the running back 1 on this team. Ty Chandler has some upside. Algier, Herbert, probably too high on this list. Where are we at the turn? The long term. That's unfortunate. Okay. I would say Marshawn Lloyd is the best pick here, but I don't know how much I want to handcuff Jacobs with this pick. If it was the next pick, maybe I'd handcuff him. My gut says My gut is telling me right now, no, because we can get Wicks. We can get some good players there. I think we wait on wide receiver. We're not drafting tight end. Okay, I think we just go with the running back here. It would be Dowdle or it would be Lloyd. And I think I would rather pick Dowdle and not handcuff Reed. But let me know in the comment section what you guys would do. I don't want Lloyd to work out, and because I want Jacobs to be like a feature back given where I kind of drafted him. So I think that's what we're going to do. Let's take Rico Dowdle. Okay, I was going to say, if Lloyd's there at the next pick, we'll take Lloyd. So let's do that. And then we'll go over to wide receiver. There's going to be great options for us. Great. We can go with A.D. Mitchell would be my highest projected. It'd be A.D. Mitchell. It would be Dontavian Wicks. It'd be like Jalen Polk. It would be Ricky Pearsall. Again, in redraft leagues, you're going to have so many options in these like final rounds for wide receiver. So I think it just makes sense to kind of like have taken a running backs first. Then we can go grab A.D. Mitchell. We can go grab Dontavian Wicks would be my next favorite. And then we can go on to defense. And again, I don't feel like pulling up the defense rankings. Defense, you would honestly, most part, you're just going for like early season streamers, but we'll just take where top defense is. So I think the team worked out very well. Their system doesn't love it. I'm not going to check myself anymore because I haven't uploaded my rankings to their system. So I'm probably not at this point going to be, actually, can we do? Yeah, I'm like never going to be the top expert anymore because I'm basically not going to give them my rankings again until like right at the end of the off season. So unfortunately, that's factoring into maybe potentially why at times their rankings don't update as fast as possible. But I like this team a lot. We're even, right? We built a kind of a classic team. This is like back in the day, we used to be waiting on quarterback a little bit more. Again, I typically prefer taking quarterback a little bit earlier, but this draft, it seemed like quarterbacks were going a little bit earlier than usual. So we end up with Jaden Daniels, Breece Hall, Josh Jacobs, Drake London, Cooper Kupp, Mark Andrews, Tank Dell, and Eagles defense. And then I love our bench. Deontay Johnson, Jonathan Brooks, Adunze, Rico Dowdle, Marshawn Lloyd, A.D. Mitchell, and Dontavian Wicks. We have a nice mixture of youth, right? We've got Adunze going to break out this season. We've got A.D. Mitchell, Wicks, maybe players that in the second half of the season are carrying a little bit more. We've also got Deontay, who's going to open the season in a very heavy role for PPR. We love that. And then Brooks, probably more of a second half of the season, but we can open the season with Breece Hall and Josh Jacobs. We're totally fine starting that. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Tomorrow, again, join the live stream if you want to see a deeper format, but also an underdog league. But that, my friends, is the end of this one, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.